Hello, this is Russ Payton with Role Playing Public Radio. We are doing an RPPR Patreon game for my patrons. You too can join in these games if you go to patreon.com/rppr. Find out how. But I run monthly games, and other members of the RPPR cast run monthly games for patrons. And we're doing Monster of the Week, the apocalypse, powered by the apocalypse, monster hunting, supernatural, modern day horror game. We have two patrons with us tonight, and this game is called From the Grid to the Abyss, and it is going to be set in Kansas City. So I will provide a little what you two know, but first, I think each of you should introduce your character. We'll start with Hostel. Please introduce your character.
Hi there. Pardon me. I am Hostel V. I am playing Kafka Valentine of Yellow Sign Security Solutions, your number one private security and what's the word I'm looking for? Free market solution for monster hunting.
Mm-hmm.
We have government contracts. That's because our friends. That's because our bosses play golf with Republicans.
Nice. Yep. And then we have Channel. And who are you playing as?
I'm playing as David Goloski. He's the spooky in the show here, and he's a sort of a local author. He runs a sort of a little like a his own like small press newsletter for cryptozoology and
Okay.
weird stuff that's happening in the city.
Okay. So we'll start this scene, this adventure, with actually Kafka Valentine visiting your office. But here's what both before we get into that, here's what both of you know. It is Kansas City. It is a normal day, but there's been local breaking news where a city bus has gone missing with approximately 2 dozen people in it. At least that's what they think. Obviously, they don't have an exact count because people come and go on the bus all the time. And the people are very worried. Their friends and family frantically trying to figure out if their loved one was on the bus. They don't know why the bus has gone missing, why none of the people on the bus have tried to call for help on their cell phones. There's just a lot of panic and confusion. This happened maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours ago when it really broke the news. Probably, you're not sure exactly when it happened. It obviously happened today, but the news broke about 2 hours ago. So Kafka, you have been hired because your bosses, of course, the Kansas City police department or the Kansas City government, the mayor's office, and they know where the bus has gone, or at least where it was last seen. It's entering an abandoned farmland right outside the city. This land should have been claimed and turned into suburbs for a while ago, but it's got a bad reputation. People avoid it, and in fact, you know it as the local nickname is called the Abyss, because well, things go into the abyss and they don't come out. It is just a black hole that of rotting and dilapidated structures and fallow fields that people just kind of mentally tune out because it's unpleasant to look at, and no one else has really done much with it. You don't know much else about it. And Also, hi, our viewer there, Edgeless Pigeon. Um, so yeah, that's what you know. But the mayor's office directed you to talk to their local expert, or crackpot, Dave Goloski, because he knows about it. He has reported about it. He has gone to city council meetings. And angrily ranted about it, perhaps. Well, maybe some people would characterize it as angry ranting. You, David, how would you characterize those previous warnings you tried to deliver to city council about the abyss?
Well, I mean, David would say he'd say that it's always a challenge for people who are sort of in the know with regard to sort of strange geographies such as this one. It's very, I don't know, it's difficult to get authorities to pay close attention to these places and what they might be capable of.
In fact, since you do have premonitions as one of your moves, this is definitely the start of a mystery. So why don't you go ahead and roll weird,
Okay.
and let's find out what kind of vision you have gotten about this.
Okay. Oops. It's 2.
And Kafka, do you have any moves that happen at the beginning of the mystery?
Let me check real quick.
I always forget which playbooks have those and which ones don't.
Let's see.
No, I don't. I can
Okay.
bug the agency, but that's really it.
Refresh my memory. It's 2d6 or
Yeah, 2d6.
Okay. 2d6 plus 2.
Also, I don't think you're going to get a plus 69 bonus there, Hostile.
You don't know.
That's true. I said I don't think. I don't know. I think it's unlikely. All right, on 10 plus, you get a detailed vision of something bad that is yet to happen. All right. So, you get a vision of someplace that looks like a mad scientist workshop, but a mad scientist on a budget, like very obviously scavenged computing and medical equipment, a bunch of rusty metal tables, with people on them, just random people from different walks of life. One of them was wearing a bus driver's uniform. They've all been hooked up to a large machine, with there's something on their head, some sort of metal helmet or something with wires leading into the machine, and then that machine feeds into a to a person centrally attached to the machine, whose eyes open, as the people on the tables, all the innocent civilians seem to. That's the vision you get, that of someone draining power, from these people. It is something that could happen in the near future, and you get a sense that has happened. You know where the bus is headed, where it went, the abyss. So. That is your vision. So whenever you encounter some element of that, remind me, and you get a +1 forward. So,
Cool.
yeah. But you have to encounter some element from that vision. So, basically, here's how it's work. Kafka, you're here to recruit David as the expert to help you go into the abyss, and David, you know the abyss is a bad place, but if you want to, what you know is based on what kind of rolls you make. So you can already start this with a investigate a mystery, read a bad situation. Actually, no, read a bad situation. Or you can just and I'll let you be more freeform with the questions about what you would know about it. So roll sharp, basically.
You want to roll off too? Sorry.
Yeah. And Kafka, you can. Well, first let's find out what you know about it. All right, with an 8, you get to ask one question about the abyss. I'll let it be, instead of having to pick from the list, I'll let you be open-ended. What do you want to know about the abyss?
What does it serve?
It serves a slumbering power, at least up until today. You know that there is something powerful and evil asleep. You suspect something that is injured, something that was injured, and is waiting to heal up. And you've never been powerful enough on your own to feel confident of going in. Um, and because obviously you feel there's other presences there, much weaker ones, but ones protecting it, guarding it, and so you don't want to go by yourself. But that's why you're trying to warn the city council. It's a ticking time bomb. So now Kafka. Well, actually, so Channel, please describe the office that Kafka comes in. Kafka then describe what your character looks like.
Sure. So the office that Goloski keeps is sort of haphazardly put together. There are lots of. I mean, I hesitate to describe like what you would stereotypically think of as a conspiracist den, but it does kind of look like that. There's a lot of um, hand drawn, essentially, like if you have, like, there are layouts or maps of Kansas City, and then these extra sheets that um, he has either layered on top of them or off to the sides or on the edges where Goloski has sort of written new borders or extra things that really only, it seems like only he really knows about.
Okay.
Really understand.
Okay. So Kafka walks in. What do you look like?
A woman with a tired face and some recently applied bandages, short cropped hair, and she wears a yellow sign security solution jumpsuit that is pretty old, held together with like a lot of custom patches and personal affectations.
Okay. Um, and actually, I would say actually Kafka Yellow Sign Security would probably have some sort of dossier on the Abyss. That's probably partially how the contract is. So you could roll plus sharp as well to know what you know about the Abyss.
Sure thing. I actually get to roll with plus cool, I think, because I took that move. Let me check.
Ooh.
Yes, that's plus 3. Nice.
Okay.
It would work better with a.
Yep.
Yeah. That's an 11.
Okay, that's 3 questions. What do you want to know about the Abyss?
How long has the Abyss been there?
It was first reported approximately 20 years ago as being a problem. That was the first report of missing persons. A group of a band, a punk band on tour reported one of they wandered onto the property and one of them went missing. And when the police investigated, it was all abandoned and they didn't find anything.
All right, people go in, but they don't come out. But does other things come out?
No. It does seem to be a one way. As far if anything comes out, it is very stealthy
Okay.
or very mundane. It would not like show up on any very very normal looking. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Let me think about the last one. Do you have any questions you'd like to ask, Chunnel?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I got one.
Mhm.
Has the size been consistent or has it grown or shrunk?
It has been consistent. It goes with the property line of a Bob Crandall. It is his property.
Interesting.
So you go in there. David, this strange woman just walked into your office.
I sort of get up, or David sort of gets up. He's sort of at his little drafting desk, and he sort of smooths down his casual business attire and sort of comes up and says, "Oh, hello. Did the city send you?"
Quick question: is Kansas City open carry?
That's a good question. I actually don't know off the top of my head.
If you don't know, then it's fine. I just very clearly like have like a side holster on me. Then,
Yeah, I would
as opposed,
imagine if you're licensed, if you're a private security company, you could.
yeah. And I just offer a hand to shake. Kafka Valentine, Yellow Sign Security Solutions. I heard there's a problem with the Roach Motel.
Yes, yes. It's quite abnormal that it's so hungry now. The you see it usually subducts only one person or one thing at a time, but a whole city bus full of people. It's this hasn't happened before.
Yeah, that tends to make the news, and that's when somebody like me comes into the problem.
Yes, I have reason to believe that we are dealing with someone who is who is seeking to use these people uh, to for what ends I can't speak to, but it's some sort of power power seeking behavior.
Yeah, places like this, they tend to just be. How much you know about botany?
Not it's not my area of expertise. Let's say that.
Like a Venus flytrap, then.
Yes, that would describe our little subduction quite well.
But
So
good news.
what's
Safest
that?
time to tangle with one of these things is when it's head. So get your gear. We're heading out.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay.
Hey, I'm glad. The last person I had to drag kicking and screaming.
All right. So like I said, it's sort of farmland and dilapidated buildings outside the Kansas City limits. Past the highway onto a dirt road. It is, but not too far from a highway, as though people who get stranded on the side of a highway might wander there at night, and look for a phone to call for aid and just disappear. Weirdly enough.
Perfect
So,
sort of place for a roadside picnic.
mm-hmm. So, what do you want? Do you want to head straight there, just drive in, or do you want to like, what kind of approach do you want to take?
Well, I have a name and I have who owns the property here.
Mm-hmm. You do.
If people come in and they don't come out, we better get our ducks in a row before we just go in.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you want to research this Bob Crandall?
I think that'd be a good idea.
Okay. That would be investigate a mystery. I would imagine. So you could roll plus sharp, or if you have, both of you can do that. To the local library or the internet, or both. Well, I mean, you could use magic to investigate it, I suppose. Um,
I mean, yeah, he would, or Golofsky would um, sort of open himself up. Although I guess uh, he doesn't have access to unseen things. That's not one of his moves. So he does have
well,
magic. So he could do some augury, I suppose.
yep. So do one thing that is beyond human limitations, or observe another place or time. So you could, though, either one of those would definitely give you some kind of information. You don't have anything to communicate with, so that wouldn't really help you. But yeah, Kafka, you can go ahead and roll sharp or cool or whatever it is you do to investigate mysteries.
Unfortunately, it's just sharp for this.
Rip.
That's a failure.
All right. Well, it's definitely a name.
Great.
He is definitely a normal person with nothing weird going on, and he pays his taxes as far as you can tell.
Goloski will, he has a pair of dice and a map of roadways. He's going to
Hmm.
just see if he can intuitively figure out a place, just to basically like see where the dikes take him.
Okay. So if you're trying to you basically divine an approach. Now, do you want the? Okay, yeah. Go ahead and roll. Let's see what you get.
Wow,
Well,
dice like me tonight.
and that was even with no, that's 12. Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Let's see here. All right, with that 12, I'll let you choose. You can divine an approach. Now you can divine a safe approach, one in which you would not be detected. You can divine an approach that would take you to something that something that could aid you, but there would be more danger. Or you could, there you know which way is obviously trapped.
Mhm.
So you could avoid that way. So do you want the safe approach or do you want the one that could aid you but is more dangerous?
I want some aid.
Okay. So you envision a particular dirt road, getting out before you get to the property line and sneaking along a certain gully into a certain ditch, into a certain storm drain, crawling through the storm drain on your hands and knees, and then pulling yourself out. You basically solid snaking a path to a particular building, and then not the main farmhouse building, but like a side building that would something below there. There is a hidden hatch leading to a basement in that sub building. That yeah. So like a workshop place. So yeah,
Mm.
but obviously it is more dangerous to take. So you're gonna have to once you get there, you're gonna have to make some kind of check to avoid detection. But you have an idea of where to go to get this potential aid.
Yeah. So Goloski will have sort of divined that with just using his chance and his map, and um, he'll sort of relay this information to Kafka, um, saying that it's not usual methodology for pathfinding, but when it comes to strange geographies, um, it's more useful than it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, as long as it's not bloodletting, I'm fine with it. See,
Cool.
I like your types. I like the ones that have the premonitions and the folklore and a little bit of psychic power. That's fine by me.
Cool.
All right. So the two of you take, I assume, Kafka's vehicle, probably. What are you driving?
Probably the cheapest vehicle they could get, which is like a black Ford Explorer that's very used.
Okay. Fit right in. Practically invisible around here. So you drive to the point until Dave tells you to stop. You pull off to the side of the road. You're a ways off. There's some trees blocking people from on the property from being able to see you at all. So, but then there is a ditch. It rained not too long ago, so it is muddy and watery, and you basically have to get down there and crawl until you get to a storm drain. So, and then make your way across that. So that is going to be acting under pressure in order to go through that mess without drawing attention to yourself. Because oh god, you have to slog through 100 yards of mud, and yeah,
Well, it's not Golaski's forte.
exactly.
It's mine. Damn it, that's a 5.
Okay. Let's see here. Uh, I will say you lose a weapon, a one-handed weapon if you have any.
Uh, yeah, I've got a 9 millimeter.
All right. That disappears into the mud. Is yeah. Actually, yeah. No, I'm gonna say maybe it doesn't disappear, but maybe it gets covered in mud. So you're not sure how well it's gonna work.
That's fair.
Yeah. Um. Do you want? Let's see. Did you roll as well? David. Channel.
It's not, but I will.
Yep.
2d6 minus 1. It's minus 1, yes. Oh. Dang. Okay, that's nothing.
All right. You go. Ugh, God, and you're just trying to keep yourself clean, which is ridiculous because you have to keep sinking your hands into this mud. And as you do so, you get about halfway there when you hear something behind you and you see clearly a feral dog has heard you and is on the road looking down at you, and it looks pretty hungry.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, pretty mean too. So Kafka's ahead of you and doesn't notice it yet. So what are you gonna do to this deal with this feral dog? I mean, it would not be hard to scare it off or chase it off, but you'd have to stand up. And if you stand up, anybody on the property line who is looking towards the road would see you, possibly.
Mm. Let's see. Jeez. Hmm. Let's see. Uh, I could just stand up and take a shot at them because I do have I was just gonna, if I take my gun and just shoot into the air, that's gonna doubly give us away.
Yes, gun shots are very loud.
Yes. Let's see.
I mean, yeah, you would be quieter for you to ignore it and hope it doesn't attack you. Let's see here. You could try to act under pressure to think of a cool move. I would give you that. But if you fail, you'll have a bad idea. And,
Yeah, I'll see if I can think of a cool move.
okay.
Let's see. Act under pressure.
Mm-hmm. So it's rolling cool. Weirdly enough. Unfortunately, you think throwing a rock at the dog would scare it away, but it's a small rock and it annoys the dog, and it starts barking at you. So Kafka, you scooted ahead a bit, and you can see this, and the dog is, so anybody from the property would see that the dog is barking at something in the ditch, but they wouldn't see what it is. So that may be ignored or it may not. That feral dog, how often do you investigate a dog barking? But you don't know. So what are you going to do, Kafka?
So we're through the tunnel and now we're just in a ditch.
No, well, you're in the ditch leading to the storm drain. You haven't even gotten to the storm drain yet.
Ah, shit. Okay. Well, all of my instincts say shoot a dog, but let me think.
I mean, you can also try and think of something cool to do. You could also try and manipulate someone. I'd allow you to do that to a dog if you have good charm.
No.
You could roll kick some ass and try and just intimidate it.
Fuck it, let's just run for it. It's not going to go into the ditch. Probably.
I mean, I do have control. Or David does have control or some liminal control over jinxes and chants. He can try and will like something to distract the dog or
Mm-hmm.
something of that nature.
Yeah, that would be a use magic, just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's try and manifest that to
Okay.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
Okay. So it works, but it'll be weakened. So I would say, you know that you managed to psychically convince the dog that there is a delicious turkey off the other way, opposite, away from you. But as you do so, you suddenly feel a powerful psychic sensation near you. Something like half asleep, but it is waking up, and for a brief second you shut off your powers before they can hone in on you. But you've alarmed someone. It's not like they know you. They don't know exactly what happened. Well, you don't know what they know, but you made brief contact with the presence there.
All right. I'll
So,
catch up with Kafka and
yep.
say they, whatever it is, I think they know we're here.
Well, then we move faster.
Yeah.
So you continue on. You go through the storm drain. You don't have to make any rolls for that. Um, but Kafka, you're first through the storm drain, and it leads to another ditch on the other side of the property. But you can crawl up to the side of the ditch and sort of peek over, and you can see the side building that David told you about. And as you look around, you can see also a large barn in the distance. In front of that, closer to you though, there is a corral, and oddly, there is a small shed in the middle of the corral, and then there is a farmhouse. Then there are a couple other structures, but they're like a couple acres off. They're pretty far off. You can barely see them. So, and they look like the roof is collapsed. Very very dilapidated, like abandoned. These are the only like functional buildings. So, um, but as you look around, you could either just try and duck immediately, or belly crawl into the workshop. Um, the front door you can see is actually ajar. It is not closed. You don't have to roll for that. But if you want to try and gain information and move in, that would require some kind of roll. Or you could sneak around to the back and see if it's more secure there. Because you don't immediately see anybody, but there's a million hiding places around here. There's abandoned tractors, there's cars. Um, Through the bus, you can see the glint of through the barn doors. You can see the glint of metal. Maybe you can't really see something big is in there. Um, yeah.
I'll try to move to the back of the shed.
Okay, so you just go to the back of the shed instead of going through the front door.
Hmm.
Okay, so you go. David, are you following, or are you going to do something else?
Yeah, I'll follow. I'll follow
Okay.
Kafka.
Okay, so the two you get to the back, you can see that there is a closed back door. Past this little workshop, there is a small, farm pond that looks pretty swampy and gross. Stagnant water and all that. There looks, if this family, if there's any livestock on this property, they're on their own. You cannot see any organized agricultural efforts, as far as you can tell. Um, but you also do see a generator that is currently running, that is hooked up to this building. The back door is closed. You cannot tell if it is locked or not. There are also two windows, and it's just this wood and tin building. There's a bunch of random rusted tools and other junk. Looks like they've been scavenging from God knows where, but there's a lot of scavenged stuff around here. So that is sort of the area you can see in the back. So what do you want to do?
So Golaski is going to describe to Kafka the vision that he had, disregarding that this is a sort of a hard Scrabble mad scientist, and that is essentially just to sort of let her know that these people, these captives, are probably being hooked up electrically or mechanically to something. So we could close off. We could, I mean, if the generator here is powering the shed, we could do something about that. But I don't know what effects that might have if there are people in there who are attached to it.
Well, right now, what we need is intelligence, and we need to get a lay of the land. Like, I don't disagree that we got to try and find the people we're looking for, but the better situational awareness we have, the better of a chance we have of getting them someplace where they can be safe while we continue to, get a handle on this situation.
That's a fair point. Okay. So if there's a patch of ground, I've still got my dice. So he can do some more augury, just sort of get a sense of. David has the sense that not everything is what it seems around here. That there's, sort of that there are dangers here that we don't see, and so he's going to use his gifts of sight to try and determine how we can avoid those dangers.
Okay.
I'm just going to try the back door and see if it's locked.
That works too.
Okay.
Well,
there is some sort of psychic interference. You're not there. It's just like radio static in your head. You're unable to concentrate right here. Outlook hazy. Try again later. Kafka, the back door is locked, but it is. You don't think you do not think it's barred, so you could try and pick the lock. That would probably be act under pressure, or you could try and force it down. I imagine, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll try act under pressure.
Okay.
Not to force it down.
Mm-hmm.
Being quiet's going to be the way to go for right now.
Okay.
$10.
All right. You easily pick the lock. It is quite old and simple. Child's play for a pro like you.
Nice.
It opens up into a dimly lit room. There's only a single bulb overhead. There's a bunch of there's it does appear to be some sort of workshop. There's toolkits and chests and tables and power tools, and oddly there are two large cages in the middle of the room open. You do not immediately see the hatch, but you do see a carpet over in one corner. But this is what you see just opening the door. What do you want to do?
I just whispered to Dave, and this is where the premonitions were telling you there was an advantage?
Yeah. Or that there was some risk, but we would find aid here.
Well, all right. I kind of want to read a bad situation.
Okay.
Because this looks like one of them murder dog situations.
What would I am...
Okay, it could not be murder dogs. It could be worse things that have been kept in cages in a shack with a bare bulb.
Also, Edge of Switch, I don't think Kafka does have a Hollywood silencer, so no shooting without drawing attention. Anyways, what'd you get on your roll?
I got a 12.
I got a 12. All right, that is 3. What question do you want answered?
Pretty bad situation. Yeah, are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
Yeah, there is a tripwire at the base of the door, and there are some pads, pressure pads, scattered around the floor, all feeding into something in some tall cabinet in the back.
Well, I guess in that same vein, what's the biggest threat?
Well, clearly, whatever's in that cabinet. Although it's not angled directly at you. I mean, it's just a cabinet that's closed. You're not sure what it could be, because it's across the room. You don't know how. Yeah, you're kind of unsure what kind of trap this would be. If it's explosive, it's not angled at you, so it would be like a claymore from coming from that cabinet would catch you only at the side. Like it's not efficiently there. But that's the only threat you can detect here in this room. Besides whatever's under the carpet, you do notice now that there is a hatch, sort of out, that is barely concealed by a dirty carpet or rug. Sorry, off in the corner.
Gotcha. I'll just put a hand up, like the universal sign of like just stay here for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Step over the tripwire and watch the pressure pads as I go in and go towards the hatch. I'll just hold the last one for now.
Okay. All right. So you can roll up the rug, and revealing a hatch. It is heavy. Looks like it was salvaged from like a battleship or a tank or some sort of thing. Everything in here was sort of, not exactly made to code. If you get my drift. Very much dude who built a maze of buses by burying them in dirt kind of vibe. But anyway, so because Kafka pointed those out, you do not have to make a roll to get over them, David. Although if you do anything fast, you will. They are definitely very easily tripped.
No, just
Yeah, as long as you're calm and cautious, you'll be fine.
you
So, yeah, there is a big hatch that both of you are at. It is cold. You can feel cold emanating from it.
I just shrug and I'm like, well, I guess we try opening this.
Yeah, my access to other or to numinous things, it seems to be running afoul of whatever's here. So we better make it quick.
Okay. All right. You open the door or the hatch. Who is going in first?
So just a hatch down into like
Well, yeah,
darkness.
yeah. Well, no, there's light coming down there, like a fluorescent light. But yeah, there's a ladder leading down.
I'll go first.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
cover you from up top.
Okay. So David, you climb down. It is noticeably colder. It's like going into a meat locker. And you notice it is almost like a jigsaw-esque medical operating room, but there are two, well, tubes, person-sized tubes hooked up to some very weird-looking machinery and some computers that look like they're from the 80s. Green text on black screens, kind of. And one is opened, and there is a human male in there who looks eyes closed, looks to be in a coma, or a very fresh cadaver. It's kind of hard to tell. The other one is closed though, and there is a corpse in it, a burnt, twisted corpse. But the you immediately get um, a psychic message, and it's coming from the corpse. You're another psychic. Oh, good. You received a premonition about what's coming. You can help me.
How can I help you?
By the way, this is not the room in your dreams or in your vision. This
Right.
is a different underground chamber. Yes, Flatline is finally recovered enough. He must be consuming latent psychics in order to reignite himself, so he can restart his mad plan to take over the world.
Jesus. Well, okay. Shit. What? How do we stop him?
Well, I'm trapped in. My spirit has been trapped in stasis in this dead body. I've only maintained my psychic core self through sheer force of will, but that is, they're dissipating that. They're doing that now because they can't have me becoming a complication of the factor. They were afraid of me escaping into a new body, but they have one of their own, of course, must have gone comatose. Comatose. If you act as a conduit, linking my corpse to that body over there, that mindless body, I could rejoin the living, and I could explain more, and I could help you fight Flatline.
I'll do it. I'll do that. It
Okay.
will serve as a conduit. So that'd
Not a
be weird.
moment's hesitation. I love it. Yeah, go ahead and roll weird, because this is very weird.
Yes. Okay. This might be a bad idea, but whatever.
It's fine as long as you're not like grounded when you're struck by the electricity. It won't kill you.
Yeah, if you better believe there's some fucking blue lightning. As let's see here, as yeah, it's very life force 80s sci-fi movie. There's sparks, and
Night channel.
yeah.
Thing.
Thank you. My name is Jared Kilpatrick. I remember that now. I've forgotten so much, but yes, we have to stop Flatline before he fully recovers his power. Um, I suppose you don't even remember that. Even
No.
okay. There's so Kafka, you hear this obviously. Are you gonna go down to talk as well, or are you gonna have the conversation above ground?
Yeah, if I hear David talking to somebody down there, I'd
Mm-hmm.
rather not be exposed. I'll just go down into the hatch.
Okay. So Jared tells you, 30 years ago, well, it really began 40 years ago. The government conducted experiments with various drugs to enhance the performance of their soldiers, but it created a generation of psychics. Um, these psychics, however, started fighting each other and going insane. I was one of them, but I held on to my sanity. Um, but in the end, one was more powerful than all of us, and he gave himself a new name, Flatline. Flatline. I meant it was what did he do? I can't remember. He had he had figured out some new way to use his power, and I can't remember what it is. I've lost so much, but he he remembered. Well, no, he. Damn. I fought him and wounded him and forcing him into a coma, and then my body was trapped like this. My mind was trapped like this in this shell, and I slept as well. But the family must have unthawed me and one of their own. in some bid to help him. Perhaps they wanted to feed me to him. They've gone insane. You see, mind controlled this family, and they must have been serving him ever since. So the Jared or the Flatline must have detected latent psychics, people who don't realize they're psychics, and has drawn them to him, so he can feed on them. What was he doing? Damn, I can't remember the exact mechanics of his plan. I'm sure it'll come back to me, but we must stop him. And I will help you as best I can.
Great. Well, I'm glad we could help you. Shit.
Maybe try to determine the psychic's honesty. Wow, you can't shake my head. You can't trust a psychic you've transferred from a corpse into a comatose body. What is this world coming to? So, you can climb back out. When you point out the traps to Jared, he's, oh, that's odd. Why would he do that? There's something about that cabinet. Something that could give me answers. If you could, I don't know if I suppose I could. But there might be answers and something that could explain what, if I could only remember, if I, what Flatline was, how his plan worked, how his powers worked.
Catherine, you knew, Catherine, you had seen, you had. I'm trying to remember now. Actually,
Mm-hmm. So your vision was obviously a Flatline draining all those bus passengers to fully awaken and regain his power. And he wants to take over the world and kill the psychic you just brought back to life. Basically,
sure.
Said he can do that, but he doesn't know exactly how he would do that. He doesn't know because psychic powers are very much kind of a one-on-one line of sight kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know how you could take over the world unless you got to like the president, but that would be pretty fucking hard. So it's probably not that. Flatline was more powerful than the average psychic, so that might allow him to do things that a normal psychic couldn't. Normal, quote unquote.
Yeah, he's definitely. I don't know. He's definitely using I think he's going to try and use these people that he's abducted as some sort of amplifier, or use them as a.
No, I think they're simply fuel. I nearly killed him and put him in coma. It must have taken him all these years just to recover from that. But now he's hungry and he must feed in order to, or he will die.
Out of character, I don't remember this. What was the name of the dude who theoretically owns this property?
Bob Crandall.
Jared, does the name Bob Crandall mean anything to you?
Yes, that was the name of a man that Flatline had mind controlled and made into sort of a Renfield. If you've read that novel, you can see the comparison kind of make. He was sort of like a hapless servant. Bob Crandall admired Flatline's powers and wished to serve him. And Bob Crandall had a family. I think all of them must have fallen under his power as well.
Okay, so we're dealing with your classic Hills Have Eyes situation, except it involves a psychic overlord who is trying to fashion himself into the new god of humanity. Great.
Yes.
Great. At least it's not an existing elder god or new lord of humanity. I can deal with some upstart.
That's good to hear.
The downside is you said that they're using human resources.
Yes. Flatline killed many of the psychics. The government experiments created probably hundreds, if not thousands, of psychics, but we all mostly fought one another or went mad on our own from hearing voices in our heads. And Flatline killed many of them himself, feeding on them. He's a psychic vampire.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled about these cages now.
Oh yes, those are quite disturbing. But I mean,
especially if he makes himself out to be an amateur, well, high evolutionist. Well, okay. You think that whatever's in this cabinet could probably give you a clue?
yes, definitely. I believe it has something to do with how his powers work.
Everybody step out of the shed carefully.
Okay. I assume, David, you are.
Yes.
All right.
And from the outside of the shed, I will make the GM happy and pull the tripwire.
All right. You pull the tripwire. The cabinet doors swing open, revealing an old CRT TV. And you need to roll act under pressure, I believe.
Yay.
All right. Let's see.
Just Kafka, because he's the one who had line of sight on it, essentially, when it triggered.
I got a 7.
All right. So, you are what you see. The TV turns on, and there's a video, and it's like a CRT TV. It's like a big old TV, color, and it's a very staticky, low, grainy image. You can see a VCR under the TV that is on, and there's a man on the TV, and he's saying, just looking at you, he's like, you know what you should do. And you get this mental image of you gladly going into that cage, locking it, and throwing all of your possessions and clothing out of the cage. And you start to walk towards the cage. And you realize that, oh shit, this is really bad. So you can either stop it and take one harm, as you get some internal hemorrhaging, or or you could just go in the cage and hope your teammates help you out before you go in the cage.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, David's going to try and prevent
Well,
him.
I mean, first off, it's Kafka's choice. Kafka can, because you got a partial. You can stop yourself at a cost,
True.
or you can just let your teammates help you.
I'll take the harm. I am very visibly just bleeding from my nose.
All right. When that happens, Jared grabs his head and just, oh, I remember now. Oh no, oh no. He was able to imprint his psychic signal onto videotapes. He was also able to broadcast it through television. It must have been covered up, but he got onto a TV station here and tried to take over the city. But that's when I stopped him. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I mean, the fact that this place is still standing means the government people just covered it up or just didn't remember what happened. But yeah. Yeah, the tape stops. But yeah, that's his thing. He is able to record psychic commands and broadcast them.
Well, great.
Yeah. Great way to take over the world.
All right, new rule. We don't read anything that's on electronic media as long as we're here.
Okay. Well, I
And-
mean, it just triggered the instant your eyes made contact with the TV. So like, the fact that they had a trick cabinet set up, to pop open and turn on the instant you hit the tripwire means they've probably done that in other places.
Yeah, we have to be okay. You tried to kill him 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Our records indicate that this, for lack of a better word, zone of influence has existed for 20.
Well, no, it was 20 years ago when he tried to kill him. Basically, right
Oh,
after
okay.
he tried to kill him. 40 years ago is when the experiments were to make the psychics, and then, yeah, 30 years ago is just a mistake. So 20 years
Right,
ago,
right.
all basically, Jared had his fight with Flatline. Crandall's pulled both bodies out of the TV station, and then holed up here ever since. And then everybody was so brain fuckled by the incident that they basically memory holed it. And nobody went after the bad psychic people. And it's not like telecommunications become more pervasive, right? So yeah, thanks. Yep, Edgels, it's fine. Yep.
Right. So, okay, at the very least, we're operating with mid 90s technology at the highest end because nothing comes out, though I guess maybe his influence could come out and we just don't. Oh, God, that's how he gets people.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Only his brain goes out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this could end up getting into a very cyclopean space very quickly.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So there's the barn left, and then there's a shed that's just out there in the middle of the paddock.
Yeah, there's a corral with a weird tiny shed in the middle of it. There's a barn, and there is a farmhouse. The farmhouse is a very large two-story structure. Yeah, sprawling farmhouse, you might say, with some later additions.
Okay. The farmhouse is the most dangerous target here. And it is most likely to be the most fortified position and also where he would keep the majority of his fun toys. But that doesn't mean that the rest of this place isn't going to be safe.
So,
That shed out there gives me pause, but it's also going to be the second easiest thing to clear out here short of the barn.
I'll follow your lead.
But that's just my 2 cents, and from operating as a scout for my career for the most part.
Well, Jared says I could try to use my abilities. I just haven't had very much time. The longer I can recover before I use them, the better off I'll be. I would prefer if you want. I'll give everything if you can find Flatline. I will do everything I can to stop him. But I can
Well,
at least negate him from taking your minds over directly.
you're also his nemesis, and he's going to be more in tune with your signature.
Yes, if I use my powers, he may detect it.
So get comfy, getting used to your new body, and we'll keep you in the back pocket for right now, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't want to necessarily force a dictatorship. So, Dave, what do you think? Do we check out the barn next, or we check out the shed?
I think. I mean, I think the shed is probably our best bet. I think barn is a little bit too ripe of a target.
Okay. Both of you can sneak pretty close to it and take a look at it before you commit. There is a lot, like I said, a lot of cover, a lot of hiding spots. There are hay bales, broken down vehicles, piles of junk, just scattered around the estate. Yeah, you can both read a bad situation.
It's one thing David is not good at.
There's one thing I'm good at.
Yeah, you are. Jeez.
Well, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah. Why don't you go first this time, David? What questions do you want answered?
Let's see. Just reading a bad situation. Let's see. The whole three. What's the biggest threat here?
You notice you actually hear an electric humming sound, and you realize the corral, the is which is metal, of course, is electrified. They have rigged it to shock people touching it.
Mm. All
But there
right.
is an obvious gate that you could open up, and has a leather handle, so it is insulated. So there is a very obvious place where you can open it up without getting shock. But climbing over it is going to be fraught unless you disable that, or you just jump it clean, which is going to be very hard to do because none of you are physical superhuman. I mean, you could use your psychic powers to levitate over it, but that would be very strenuous, very
Yeah.
obvious to anybody looking around. So yep, that's that.
Mm. Okay. Um, hmm. What's the okay? So that's
That's the
okay.
biggest threat, I think.
Okay.
That was the question you wanted answered, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Hmm. All right. Kafka, what do you think?
Hmm. Well, if it's got power, that doesn't mean that there's not something in there that could have a VHS in it. But I'd really like to tamper with the power, but also the moment we tamper with the power, our cover's blown.
Yeah, you don't see an obvious power box or cable in there. It might be buried. At least at this place, it might. You'd have to. You don't know where the junction box would be or anything to.
True.
Yeah, to cut the power. You haven't asked. Are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
Yeah, that's a good question to ask.
Okay. Yeah, there actually is a. Well, you see a glint of light for a second coming from the barn. Um, you don't know what that is. Like something reflecting out from the barn loft for a split second. Um, it is daylight, by the way, and it's actually kind of sunny out. Actually kind of well, yeah, a bit sunny. Um, so I'd say that it's like mid afternoon at this point. And there's actually you notice a teenager sort of wandering around in the days, um, kind of looking confused, wearing a hoodie and jeans and and dirty sneakers. But yeah,
This,
there's outside the crowd, just wandering around the farm, like between the corral and the barn, just kind of looking around.
I'll sort of, I'll, or David will sort of bring him or like try and motion him over.
You're trying to get the attention of the teen. The teenager's not noticed you yet.
Oh yeah. Actually, I guess if he's possibly under the influence of flatline, that might be a bad idea.
You'd have to use magic or your psychic powers to figure that out.
Yeah.
Definitely be
Can I reach
risky.
out to him with my psychic power just to sort of touch his mind?
Well, to just contact him,
Yeah.
yeah, you could do that. Whisper to him, look over here. That would basically be it. So yeah,
Six
what is the thing beyond human limitations?
weeks.
All right. With a 10, you succeed. Let's see here. Yeah. The kid starts walking over to you, very confused. Um, where did you guys come from?
We're trying to. We came from the city. We're trying to help.
Oh. Oh, well, everyone else is in the shed in the corral. I just escaped. I don't know where to go. I just got out a little while ago.
In terms of Kafka, I don't trust this at all.
I give you that kind of look of like, yeah, pretty much. Um,
Just can you my mom's in the shed below. Can you go and we could get everybody out if you open it up.
okay, so the shed leads below.
Yeah.
and they're holding people below.
Yeah.
Do you know what's in the barn?
Nothing. I mean, that I haven't looked.
Hmm.
Okay, I can tell you a safe place to go for now.
But my mom, we have to go and get her. Here, I'll open the gate. You just go down there and grab him. I'll open the gate. Come on. The kid starts running over to the corral. Unless you
I
try and
We
grab him
don't
before he
do.
runs away.
I think we're gonna have to try to manipulate him.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your charm, David?
My charm is 0.
Better than mine.
Okay. Let's see if I can get him to stop. 6.
This is
No.
the part where the rap breaks down.
All right. Well, that does not seem to work. The kid is like yelling at you, running over the corral, pulling open the gate. Come on, go down. We need to rescue everyone. You're the heroes. Help us.
I think this might be. This is not good. Damn it! We need to.
I think we need to pull back.
Yeah.
Not go back where we came from, but go somewhere else, because now he's drawing attention.
Yeah, the kid is making very like pointing at you, waving at you. Come on, I see you right there. Come on, come over here. Help me. Go to the shed.
No, there's something. Oh God. Shit, what should I do now?
Jared looks at the kid. It's, those clothes don't fit him very well, do they?
No. No, they don't. Yeah, fuck this. Let's go to the barn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
How are you going to the barn? Like just running to it, or sneaking there, or
Where are we in space? Yeah.
basically, so the shed is where the workshop is, probably the southeast corner of the property. So imagine a square, and the southeast corner, the bottom right, would be where the workshop is. The corral is directly a bit northwest of that, more west than north, so like pretty much below the center. The barn is the top left / northwest corner of the property, and the farmhouse is sort of like the top right, although a little like in that quadrant. I mean, it's pretty sprawling. So does that make sense? So
Yeah, we're more or less in the middle.
you're the corral is basically the middle. You're a little off of that because you're not at the corral, but you're pretty close. Yeah.
So we'd have to go past the corral to get to the barn.
I mean, you don't have to go directly past it. You can go around it. There's plenty of space to maneuver around. You can go behind it, or you can go in front of it towards the barn. Basically, if you go behind, you're going all the very long way around. You're just sort of walking around the edge of the property to get to the barn, or you could cut across diagonally straight at the barn, or you could go behind the farmhouse to get to the back of the barn.
Let's see.
All right, he's making a lot of noise. He's drawing attention to himself. I think we could just move, but that's me. If we try to sneak away, we're gonna have to break line of sight with him.
Yeah, he's a problem. I think I think sneaking is out of the question now.
Yeah, I think we just have to move.
Yeah.
Are you just running straight at it then?
Yeah.
Okay. So, kind Kafka, make a act under pressure roll.
Can do. That's an 8.
Okay. You can either get winged by the bullet. Do you have armor? Do you have a bulletproof vest or anything?
I've got Kevlar and I've got +1 armor just as part of
Okay.
my kit.
Okay. Let's see here. With that, then I would say since you didn't fail, you get winged, and your armor blocks the bullet as a rifle shot cracks out from somewhere and hits you. You fall to the ground unhurt, but you manage to crawl into cover. David and Jared are behind you back at the original hay bale that everyone was sort of hiding behind while checking out the corral. The kid is well, you don't know what happened. Yeah, I mean, well, kind of into combat right now, so
Sure.
someone is sniping at you. David, you're up first since you weren't shot.
Sure. Well, I also have a hunting rifle.
Okay.
Enough. So I'm going to see if I can get a bead on the shooter now
Okay.
that he revealed himself.
All right, so you'll have a -1 on this kick some ass because you don't know where they are yet. You weren't really prepared for this, so you're sort of like having to stick your head out and look around until you get a idea of where the shooter is.
All right. So that's just a flat piece. And I suck.
Okay. So they will inflict 2 damage to you as they hit you with a bullet. So 2 harm.
Take it in the shoulder. I sort of.
I will say at this point, you know they're shooting you from the barn loft.
Okay. So I know where they're.
Yeah, and you notice that the kid is not running to cover; he's just standing there.
Yeah, I knew it.
So Jared is pulls you back, make sure tries to put something on the wound. He can try and heal it, or bandage it up if you want, but you lose your next action. So Kafka, it's your turn now.
Well, I just think to myself, well, is this going to get loud or is this going to get really loud? I said, well, let's not tip our hand just yet, and I take out my own hunting rifle.
Okay. You can roll kick some ass without having to, without a penalty, because you definitely know where the shooter is now.
Hooray!
Mm-hmm.
That's a 7.
Okay. You inflict harm on each other. So you take 2 damage. Of course, subtract from your armor, so that's 1. And they take 2 damage. And yeah. Back to David. Now it's someone shooting from the loft, so it's dark, so you don't know if the shooter's still up or not. So what are you gonna do?
Well, he's bleeding, so I'm going to ask. Does Jared have any? Does he have any expertise in terms of harm reduction? Or
Yeah, he can treat you. So if you do nothing this round, he'll just heal you for 1 damage.
yeah, I'm to do that.
Okay. So back to you, Kafka. What are you gonna do?
I think I'm going to try to get in there.
Okay. Roll. What do you call it?
Act under pressure.
Yeah, that thing.
I rolled that in the wrong place, but that's a 10.
What channel did you do?
Main. Whoops.
Yep, it counts. So act under pressure. You get where do you want to go? Like straight up into the barn loft? If you just run at a dead sprint, you can make it.
Not into the loft, but into the barn itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
The bus is there, and you're directly below the loft. And the shooter, the sniper, is did not shoot at you. He must have been knocked down or trying to reposition. You can hear pressure on rickety wooden ladder up ahead in the barn. So what are you gonna do? You actually get the drop on him because you rolled so well. So it looks like the sniper's trying to climb down.
He's trying to climb down. Kick the ladder.
Okay. Yeah, he falls down. His rifle is knocked away from him. He's a very old man, and he looks really bad. Not just because he's been shot. Like his eyes have the fanaticism in them, bloodshot and piercing. He has got sickly blue veins all over his head. He is incredibly wrinkled and slimy looking. He is just his teeth are all black. His fingernails are filthy and mangled. Like he is just a mess of a human being. And yeah, you found Grandpa.
I guess I'll just keep my gun on him now.
Okay. So David and Jared, you can go up. David, as you're crossing the field to get to the barn, the kid realizes something's up, and he's no. You have to get what I'm telling, and he starts running to the farmhouse.
Oh Jesus. Let's see. Shit. I was gonna say if I could use some sort of magic, but I'm not. I have like telepathy. I can't like actually.
I mean, it's whatever you want it to be. Like
That's true. I'm gonna
you
see
can
if
inflict harm. Like
I'll actually like try and. I guess I am.
you can
not
trap a
really-
person. Oh yeah, you could basically you can trap a specific person. So basically, you could telekinetically lift him off the ground.
Sure. I also gonna just jinx that he like trips and falls, which I'm gonna do.
Yeah, either way. So
Um,
go ahead and roll weird.
2d6. Oh, well, that's something.
Oh, 7. Okay. So it's a short duration. He trips. He's going to get back up in a second unless you capitalize on this.
So I'm gonna try and let's see. I don't think I can physically overtake him.
You can kick some ass and choose just to like grab him instead of like hurting him.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
All right. 2d6 plus 1.
Oh damn. Yeah, you capture the hell. Like what do you can narrate? What do you do to this kid?
Basically, like he trips over over like a can that was in the like buried in the dirt, and then I just like tackle him, and then just sort of shake him and ask like, try and who are you? Like, what are you trying to do?
Dad wants gotta wake up Mr. Flatline. He'll make everything better. We'll be rich and safe and happy when Mr. Flatline takes over. I'm maybe a replacement son, but I'm a good son.
Okay. So sorry, I was a little bit no.
The kid was pretending to be a hostage to lure you guys away.
All right.
Yeah.
He was the lookout, and if he saw any cops or anything showing up, he'd be like, "Oh, look, go to the shed." Where when they go to the shed, Grandpa snipes them.
Right.
That was the plan.
Well, then I'll just I will.
You could throw him into the cryogenic chamber and just lock the hatch. Or you could
Yeah,
put him in one of the cages. Like,
Yeah, we could
yeah,
also do that with Grandpa.
yep.
yeah. Whatever. I was gonna bring him to Kafka and
Okay.
sort of
Hmm.
yeah.
All right. Very good. Very good. So you have captured two of the members of the family. You don't know how many are left, but yay! All that seems you could check out the shed, and it was clearly just a trap. It was just set up there to lure people in as a trap. So all that's left now is the farmhouse.
There's
So,
nothing. There's nothing but the bus in the barn.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Well, yeah. I was gonna
so
ask Jared if he had any insights, but like you said, if he Flatline knows his signature, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
All right. So, to get in the farmhouse, there are multiple doors in. There's the front door, of course. There's the back door, and then there is the side door. Of course, there's also numerous windows. You could also try and climb up to the second floor and work your way down. So, yeah, it's a big dilapidated farmhouse. The side door looks like it's a recent addition, and yeah, the door is very crudely made on the side door, so you could just push it open and it'll open it. There's no locking mechanism. But the front and back door seem to, well, the front door seems to be unlocked, and the back door you haven't tried. But the front door does seem to be partially ajar.
There's not like a basement door.
Not from the outside.
Okay. So I say to David, no basement door. That's probably where all the technology and all the hostages are.
yeah.
Most fortified position.
I was gonna say, yeah, we're probably getting close here to where the premonition was sort of centered. I'm trying to think of how I can take that that +1 forward.
Whenever you encounter an element from the actual vision, so probably when you enter the basement and see all that shit,
Mhm.
you'll get a +1 for the rest of the scene.
All right. Do you want the good news or the bad news?
Let's go with the bad news.
I think our most effective means of entry is going to be through the second floor.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to climb and we're going to have to sneak. But that's what I think the most effective means of entry is.
Well, I'm a little bit fucked up right now just because of my my wound, but yeah, I think
Don't
you're
forget,
right.
you both do have 3 points of luck. You can burn a point of luck to get a 12 on a roll.
That's
Mhm.
true.
But where's the fun in that?
Yeah, it's not like you won't need it for the last confrontation.
It's true.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I will. I'll just burn a point of luck and just
Shimmy up there.
in. Yeah.
Okay. You shimmy up there with surprising agility. Jared, of course, makes it because, yeah, plot NPC. So it's all to you, Kafka.
Yep. Is that act under pressure? Because I'm good at that.
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good, like, I'm doing a thing.
That's a 10.
All right, yeah, you do the thing. So you expertly climb up the wall to get to the second story window, which is ajar. So you managed to slide in there now, and you were fairly stealthy. So of course, whoever's in the house certainly, probably if they're in the basement, they wouldn't hear gunshots, but maybe. But certainly anybody in the house themselves would have heard the repeated rifle shots there. So yeah. The you open the door. You're in a bedroom. It is filthy. It appears to be the teens' bedroom, but you realize there are other photos of a different teenager on there. And Jared's like, "Oh no, they've gone." And their original son, I think, was also a scanner. They must have fed him to Flatline, so they've simply kidnapped teenagers and used them as replacement children
Yep.
perhaps using imprint tapes to make them think that they were.
Yep. You did say he would be a good replacement.
Yep. Yes, this is they are beyond redemption at this point. They may have been brainwashed, but they are they must be stopped.
They're they're fanatical to the point of just, well, you saw what happened to the grandfather. So I am going to say this. Try to take him alive, because at the very least we can study what happened and help prevent this from happening. But if it's your life or theirs, take theirs.
Yeah. Jesus.
So there are stairs leading down to the first floor, but you can hear activity sounds. Someone walking around on tile and pots banging around. It sounds like someone's cooking in the kitchen.
Sounds like the family has a mother, and Mr. Flatline has some outdated notions of gender norms.
Well, I mean, you can tell it's up ahead, basically down the hall and to the left. You don't have line of sight on it yet, so you don't know what's in the kitchen. But you don't. The rest of the first floor, you don't really see a clear basement door, and most basements doors or stairs leading down the basement would be in the kitchen. That is a common place to put it. So.
So there was nothing in the second floor?
Well, oh yeah, I assumed you were going down to the first floor because it's, your objective is below you.
Yeah.
But you could search around on the second floor, actually.
I mean, I just figured we would check the second floor just to
Okay.
make sure there was nobody else up there.
Yeah, you do a quick search. You don't see anybody. You could read a bad situation.
We'll absolutely read a bad situation.
Is this a bad situation?
It's not great.
Yeah, it's not great.
That's a 6. Well, I don't see people.
Well, you do find a room though that has. You open it up or you look inside and you can see hundreds of VHS tapes stacked up, and there are several TVs there. There's notebooks, clipboards, labels on VHS tapes, like cigar burn 1, cigar burn 2, bank no, safe combination, replacement son 1. Yeah, so they looks like they have a pretty big archive of tapes.
Okay, well, we look at none of these.
Yeah.
What?
I think we should probably maybe burn this place to the ground when we're done, just to be on the safe side. But
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Right now, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah. They you get to the. Okay. So how are you doing the kitchen now? How are you going to get to the kitchen?
I guess we just go down from the second floor, and sorry, I don't have a great sense of space here, but
Well, I mean, you don't have to worry so much about the geography. It's just a farmhouse, or the architecture, the layout. It's more like, are you going to rush the room, walk in casually, or sneak in? Like, I mean, unless you want to like Kool-Aid man your way through an adjacent wall, because this is a pretty old farmhouse. You could probably do that.
Yeah.
I guess we have the element of surprise still, so we could
Possibly.
possibly.
It's hard to say because crazy people. You fired rifles a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll walk in with my gun drawn, or yeah.
You just walk in. Okay.
Yeah, I'll walk in with my gun drawn as well, just because.
Okay.
Might as well look outnumbered.
Okay. There is an old woman in an apron with her back to you, cooking. She has a very, very big soup pot on a stove. She is throwing ingredients in. It's like, "Hello, dearies. Have you come for supper?"
No, we haven't.
But
Just
you have! And with, you realize she has some sort of device on her wrist that she pushes, and the cabinets click open, revealing an array of TVs.
God damn it.
Jared is able to resist that, but that's all he can do. So you don't have to worry about him. But you two, you can either act under pressure or you could use magic. Those would be probably the big two ways. Or you could just try and kick some ass and try and kill her before those things activate.
I mean, I will lash out with my latent psychic powers to
Okay.
just try and prevent that from happening. Let's see,
Yeah.
6.
Yeah, banish a curse from a person or object. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. 8. Okay. Let's see here. What glitch will it be? Before I decide that, go. What are you doing? Coffee.
I think I'm just gonna tackle her.
Okay, kick some ass.
Yeah. So my sort of psychic outlash was to try and prevent the CRT monitors from like activating.
Okay, I'll say it's weakened, so you can't protect both of you. You can protect one person, yourself or Kafka.
I'll protect Kafka.
Okay. So you form a mental shield over Kafka, so Kafka's not affected by it. And instead, you start walking over to a nearby chopping board with a very large, sharp butcher knife, and you're like, "It's time to chop the vegetables," as you realize to your horror that your hand is picking up the butcher knife and you're putting your other hand on the chopping block on the cutting board. Hostile, you got a 9. So what are you doing to her?
I'm just trying to tackle her.
All right, you tackle the shit out of her. Knock her to the ground. She's helpless. And her attack was to use the TVs on you, which obviously doesn't work because you're protected from it. Jared rushes over and tries to physically hold David's hand so he doesn't cut his own fingers off. Chop chop chop. So Kafka, what are you going to do next? You could try and mess with the device to close the cabinets, turn them off, or you could punch Grandma out. Or I don't know. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I was figuring mess with the device because there's a lot of TVs in here.
There are. This is actually going to be a sharp check to figure this out because it is a weird little device and there's several buttons on it, and you really want to figure this out and get the right button.
Yeah. Good thing I'm a little good at sharp.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'll use a point of luck just in case.
Okay. Oh, thank God, it's that button. If there were sand checks in this game, you would have to make one, David. But fortunately, the TV shuts off before you start cutting your fingers and dicing them like green onions. As Jared is still physically weak, he cannot hold you back. He's like, he slowed you down a little bit. That's all he could do. It's like, you can't stop. So the old lady, the grandma, is yelling, you can't stop. Oh Lord, he will
Take
come.
a dish towel and I gag her.
Okay. All right, you take off the little device on her hands, you tie her up. You probably don't have time to really drag her all the way out to the workshop to put her in a cage, though.
No, we can just tie her to a chair.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or tie her to the fridge.
Yep.
So throw away into the basement from here.
Mm-hmm. So who's going down the basement first?
I will.
Okay. Guess what there is? There is a gauntlet of CRT TVs behind wire mesh screens to protect them, all blasting you with commands to handcuff yourself or to put leg irons on and then handcuffs, which are conveniently scattered all around you. Just there's handcuffs on the railings, leg irons on the floor. You could just do that. That wouldn't that be nice for you to do that? You should do that. Do that now.
I'm going to try and resist as hard as I can.
Okay.
Let's see. Would that be weird or?
Yeah, definitely weird if you're using psychic powers.
Yeah. Say, maybe yells out to Kafka. It's like, guess what?
Yeah.
All right, so you got an 11, so you can protect both of yourselves with that. It works with effect. You do banish the curse. Basically, I'm treating it like a curse. Let's see here.
I sort of tune out that particular frequency.
Yep. And you head down. Yeah, now you've gotten to the place of your vision. All the bus passengers are hooked up to the machine. There's Flatline over there, but there's also what wasn't in your vision was Mom and Dad. Boy, they look angry. Dad, of course, heard the commotion up there, so they were ready. So Dad just takes a shot at you, David. You probably want to act under pressure to not get plugged with a big ass revolver.
Yeah, I'll do that. Let's see. Plus.
Oh yeah, I'll give right now, just since this is the last scene, I'll give a bonus point of luck to anyone who, in one guess, can identify what movie I ripped this idea off from.
I'll let you go first because I think I have a hint.
I've got nothing.
Is this the 5 Scanners films?
Okay, which one?
Okay, it's not Scanners 1.
No.
It's not Scanners 2. Thinking. Scanners 5.
Nope. That's Scanner. There is no Scanners 5. It's Scanner Cop 2. So Scanners 3 is the answer we were looking for, though.
I didn't know there was just. I thought there was just one Scanners.
Nope, there are 5 Scanners. 1, 2, and 3, and then Scanner Cop 1 and Scanner Cop 2. The other 4 are very low budget direct to VHS kind of movies, made very cheaply, and they're very good. Anyways, but Scanners 3 has many gonzo ideas, including imprinting psychic powers to VHS tapes. That when you play the tape back, makes you do the same thing the psychic was asking originally, which is and also broadcasting psychic commands via television, which is an amazing idea, and I had to use it for a game. Close, but no cigars, so no bonus luck. But so let's see how it goes. Anyways, what's your act under pressure?
Mine was a 10, so I think I got pretty well.
Yeah, you duck out of the way. You find perfect cover. He's fixated on you, and you and Jared Kafka managed to rush in. The mother, who is dressed as the 1950s housewives, is the only immaculate member of the family. The father is filthy and wearing a cowboy hat, very like a child's cowboy hat that is much too small for him, and very, very real cowboy pistols, though. And she has got a fire axe. She's like, no one will. I was trying to have a nice dinner party. And she is charging towards the lot of you with fire axe. Jared immediately stops and starts making weird faces. And you realize he's having a psychic duel with Flatline. There's just going to be a lot of bulging veins and flesh bubbling up, and yeah, so you probably flat, and there's also a weird psychic sound you can all hear. Yeah. Also, Edgeless Pigeon, it is good. It is very good. Anyways, Scanners 3 is. I will definitely show it at the RPBR live stream at some point. But anyways, yeah, we're in combat now. 2 crazy people and a would-be psychic god. Who's trying to emperor himself up to godhood. by sucking up the psychic souls of some latent psychics and blah blah blah. You get the idea. So Kafka, what are you going to do?
Well, I've got an assault rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Now seems like a pretty good time for an assault rifle.
Yeah. Who are you going to shoot at?
The machinery.
Ooh.
I was going to say this would be the point at which I could take the +1 forward. I was going to sort of lend my psychic aid to Jared to try and bolster his attack against Flatline.
Well, hold on. Okay, so if you want to shoot, if you want to shoot it, that's fine. Then she will attack you, though, Kafka, after you shoot. So,
That's fine. What's an axe in the back?
okay. So go and give me act under pressure to not get stabbed.
I got a 9.
Okay. So you get partially stabbed. You get cut. So you take one harm that your armor cannot help because this is an axe, not a gun. So I will rule that. Yeah. So let's see here. Oh, that's what. Okay, I was looking at the wrong one.
I've been worse, but
Yeah, it's not great. But the machine sparks. Flatline screams and Jared's like you think he's making a more triumphant facial gesture, but I want to do a psychic duel in the movie where there are no special effects, no dialogue or internal thoughts, just 5 minutes, two guys glaring. That is literally every Scanners movie. They have sound effects, and maybe there's a little special effects, but it is just two people glaring at each other and looking very sweaty for minutes, and it is glorious. I did
make that work. Yeah,
I did run a 1-page game about that idea. I did write a game. I haven't run it yet, but that'll be soon. So the so that was Jared is doing that. So David, you're behind cover. The cowboy father is shooting at you wildly. He can't really hit you while you're behind this very thick metal desk. But well, at least right now, those bullets are beginning to punch holes in the metal desk. What are you going to do?
let's see. I was gonna. Can I lash out with my thoughts to try and sort of, I guess, how can I act against this old man, Yosemite Sam, this dude? Just try and I guess hold on, because he's not necessarily under the mental control of Flatline. He's actually just a
he's so brainwashed. Flatline doesn't have to maintain an active thing, so you can use your powers. You can use magic to do something beyond human limitations, or you could just one harm will not probably kill him, but if you could.
I'm gonna try and not mind wipe him, but just stun him.
Okay. Yeah. You can ban. Well, you can. Yeah. You know what? I'll say that's kind of like banishing a spirit or curse from a person. So, or habits. Yeah. So that'll kind of Flatline basically has hollowed these people out, and they are nothing but psychosis and Flatline's impulses. So if you use magic, you can basically psychically stun him, and there's just nothing inside. You can temporarily suppress Flatline's will in this person. So yeah, go ahead and use magic, but this is obviously going to be risky.
Right. The other thing I guess I could do, no, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, roll.
Just reach out and brain-to-brain interface.
Yeah, just punch him with my brain.
See, you're lucky he only has the 90s computer technology, because otherwise you could have 2000s and then just put Bonzi Buddy up in there.
Oh no. Well, I've already used that in a game, so I can't rip myself off. Or can I?
Okay. So 12.
Oh
So
yeah, 12. Yeah, no, you just push the off switch basically, and he goes to sleep. He is a miserable shell of a man. So that was your action. Uh, so um, Flatline is trying to react. Still in the psychic duel. Fire housewife with fire axe. Going straight for your head. It's gonna really hurt. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I think. Well,
have you used a luck so far in the game?
I'm gonna
yeah,
say she's going for for the head, so it's gonna do an additional one harm if it hits. And it is, but you will do an additional two harm to her if you do any damage to her right now. She is just going full offense, as the kids would say. Um,
uh, yeah, I'm not gonna. I've been. I've got all these wonderful guns, but I haven't really been using them. But I am just gonna like try to just, I guess, just restrain her.
okay. Certainly, if you get a full success, you'll do that. If you get a partial success, she will still inflict some harm on you.
Yeah.
Or actually, no. It'll be. I'll give you a choice between you taking harm or something else happening. If you get a partial, but go and roll. Go and roll tough.
That's a 9.
All right. Do you want to take some harm, or do you want something else to happen?
I will take some harm.
All right. You take two harm as she buries it in your shoulder, but then you punch her and knock her out. And she is down for the count as well. Yeah, you got a big gashing wound. At this point, though, the machine explodes, and Jared is knocked out. Unfortunately, so you think it's all over for a second. There's just the fog of the mist coming from the machine, and but then two people. One well, actually no, one person rises up, the bus driver, and you realize it is possessed by Flatline, and is going over to the father and picking up the revolvers, and surprisingly not pointing at you but at himself. I want you to leave now, or this innocent man will die.
I'm going to try and can I like restrain him with my like try and fight him with
You
Jared?
sure can.
Yeah.
You could if you are a psychic, you goddamn well better have a psychic duel with this psychic.
Yeah.
Um,
And I will use luck to get a 12.
I I will help,
oh
but
yeah,
mostly I the
yeah
help
go.
move. I will just friggin' try and grab his hand and keep that gun low.
Okay. So you grab the hand, trying to keep him from pulling the trigger. You blow a point of luck to win your psychic duel. What do you want to happen to Flatline then? Not only is the bus driver freed, something else happens. What do you want it to be?
Gets knocked back into his original body.
Okay. Well, yeah, that happens regardless.
Sure.
But something else happens as well. What do you want to happen? Do you want Flatline's body to burst into fire? Do you want the all of the people to wake up so they can free themselves? Or do you want to get a psychic impression of powerful lore and knowledge to enhance your own powers?
Oh, I'm just gonna explode.
Okay, yeah, he explodes. Um, yeah, you need to get everyone out of this room now. This is the machine's caught on fire a bit. He's definitely on fire, and Jared is up. The people are waking up very groggily, and yeah, it's just oof. So good job. You've rescued everyone. Yeah, brain death. He went. You could say he flatlined. Ow! Um. Oh yeah, there's definitely some blue lightning when he explodes. By the way, can't have a good psychic duel without blue lightning. And yeah, you saved the day. The farmhouse burns down because there's no fire trucks nearby. But everyone is rescued successfully. You managed to call it in. Jared disappears. You don't know what happens to him.
No,
Yeah.
that's ominous.
Well, that's for the sequel. Jared's got to find his own path. He's got to rediscover himself. He's been asleep for 20 years as a corpse. And he's got to fight the secret psychic war with all the psychics. Yeah. But yeah, that was from the grid to the abyss. The grid being the city, the abyss being this weird Resident Evil 7 / scanners thing. But yeah, I just had this idea of like the VHS tapes, just a dungeon full of those traps. Like, walk it like if you went straight into the farmhouse through the front door, you just like, just walk straight ahead into a pit trap. Like something like that. Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Sorry, I was not at my best today.
No, you're fine. I think you were both fine. Yeah, Scanners 3 is a bit of a sci-fi horror comedy, Edgeless. But yeah, that is the premise. So, questions, comments, suggestions. You guys like it?
No, I liked it quite a bit. It was, yeah, I like the layout. I like the variety, and I honestly did like that it was not just some monster or some weird. You want to know something funny?
What?
I was initially tempted to make a monstrous for this game, whose gimmick was like they were kind of like half television entity.
Damn, that would have been prophetic.
Yeah, that would have been like weirdly synchronous. Also, with the fact that like the spooky here was like a psychic, but like, yeah, no, I like how it. I like how it all came together, and I like that for once it was just some asshole with delusions of godhood.
Yeah. Yeah. The Scanners film series gets fucking weird, man. Like if you like direct to VHS kind of trash, like the 2 through 5, 2, 3, and Scanners Cop 1 or 2 are just full of weird moments and bits and just weird psychic duels of people glaring and getting sweaty at each other. It's great, but 3 is the highlight. 3 is by far the highlight. There's just so much happening in it.
They're all Canadian productions, aren't they?
Oh yeah. But like the rest are very low budget. Like the original Scanners had a bit of money, but like not a huge amount. But like the rest are very low budget.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of weird horror implications in the Scanners series, and they don't really explore it too well. So I thought I would dive a little deeper into that stuff. But yeah, thank you for supporting the RPPR Patreon. Thank you for playing, and thank you for those of you listening. Now or in the future, thank you. And check out Roleplaying Public Radio. And yeah, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Later.